It's time for another hockey conversation. Sure, the Stanley Cup's been handed out, but somebody I always love talking to. It really doesn't matter what the topic is, but it's Chris Pronger, former Blues captain, Norris Trophy winning defenseman, who went on to win a Stanley Cup, and for many years that was the theme. If you left the Blues, you would end up winning a Stanley Cup, and Pronger did that in Anaheim. And I feel like I loosely heard the story about him winning the Cup and then having a party at his house in SoCal and the cops coming. And so Pronger's a great storyteller, always just ribbing away. And we get him to retell that story after winning the Cup, what it was like. Sugar Ray, the band Sugar Ray, played his party. But also what he's doing these days. He left the Florida Panthers. A lot of us thought he was in line to be a GM down there, or at least a GM somewhere in the NHL. He updates us on what's going on these days. And also this upcoming season, whenever that starts, the Blues are scheduled to retire Pronger's number 44. And what a ride it's been. Came here, traded for Brendan Shanahan. Really unpopular trade. And Pronger took the brunt of it and had to deal with Mike Keenan, had to deal with fans who were mad. We revisit all of that with the one and only Chris Pronger. The Hockey Conversations presented by Marie de Villa Senior Living, located at the corner of Clayton and Weidman Road since 1960, providing premier senior living. Get a virtual tour or set up an appointment. Just go to mariedevilla.com. One of our great sponsors is Triad Bank, and I love their story as well, based in St. Louis since 2005. So if you're a business owner, especially right now, in these uncertain times, which is such a cliche, uncertain times, but make sure you're dealing with the right bank. Somebody based in St. Louis, Triad Bank, located in Frontenac on Clayton Road. You can also find them on the web at triadbanking.com. B&G Tuck Pointing, the best in the bricks. They can take your bricks and make them look new again, whether your home is made of brick, your detached garage, your chimney. If you need the mortar repair, foundation repair, waterproofing, caulking, they do it all. Get online at bgtuckpointing.com. And all of our hockey conversations throughout this last month or so has been presented by Appliance Discounters, a great St. Louis success story. They're in Maplewood, South County, St. Charles, and Baldwin. And they carry GE appliances. You know the story at Appliance Discounters. Great merchandise, even better prices. Well, they carry GE. So what I tell folks to do all the time, I just tell them, go to the website, theappliancediscounters.com, and in the little search engine, type in GE, and all of the great products will pop up. Ranges, microwaves, freezers. How about the stainless steel dishwasher? Free installation. Washers and dryers. Dryers can be gas or electric. Great selection of the GE products. Refrigerators, French door, fingerprint-resistant refrigerator. How does that sound to all the parents out there? Top freezer refrigerators. GE is built to last. You know their story. Started in 1892. I love this nugget about GE. Thomas Edison, one of the founders of GE. Appliance Discounters, a proud supplier of General Electric appliances. Get online at theappliancediscounters.com. And without further ado, let's get to it. Our conversation with the one and only Chris Pronger. Let's get caught up to date first, Chris. What are you doing these days? I know you're working with the Panthers, and I think a lot of folks thought you were kind of on the GM track there. Bring us up to date.
Well, just working on our travel business, really. It's building a business is not it's not cookie cutter. There's a lot of things that go into it, and it's unfortunate what happened with COVID and everything that's kind of gone on in the last 6-7 months, but it's given us a lot of time to continue to work on the business, have conversations with people, and kind of let them know what we're doing, grow our business organically, and take our time and slowly build it out, work on our social media presence, work on our website, work on our internal processes, work on a lot of the stuff that really goes unnoticed when it's done properly. But when it's not done properly, you notice a little chinks in the armor. So we're fortifying things on that end and using this time to our advantage and making sure that when we do come out of the COVID and come out of this side of it, we're able to kind of look back and be happy that we use the time wisely and be that much stronger moving forward.
And talk about product placement. You got a map of the world behind you, and it's well-inspired travel, right?
Well-inspired travels.
And what's the focus there? Is it just anyone who wants to go on a trip? Is it businesses or groups?
Our niche, our niche is elite athletes, CEOs, C-level executives, business owners, high net worth clients, but luxury travel, boutique luxury travel company, really global. It's private jets, yachts, 5-star luxury resorts, anything you can really think of. Really, trains, intimate river cruises. It runs the gamut, really. The Amazon River to the Nile to, Southeast Asia. I mean, there's all kinds of different locations, and really, it's just a matter of finding out what people's interests are, what their likes and dislikes are, what their bucket list looks like, where they've been, where they haven't been, where they've been that they liked and didn't like. I mean, there's tons of questions and even more answers.
So me and Strickland going to Branson, we're probably not calling you.
No, you're not.
in fact, don't call me. Period. Is what.
Yeah, lose my number.
Did you think you were going to stay in the management level of hockey for a while, though? I think people saw you as a future GM. Was that something you thought?
I think I was working at the league and then working in Florida for 3 years, so 6 years total. I didn't receive one call, so I guess nobody was interested.
Fair enough. And
so sometimes you gotta, I think that's part of the equation, and also I was telling somebody this when they're asking me, you must be going somewhere else, and I was like, no, I have a passion for travel. My wife has a passion for travel, but more importantly, we have a passion for planning travel and seeing the joy that travel can bring to people in their personal lives and professional lives. Our story and our unique ability to connect with our niche client group. We're open books, and I tell people all the time, a lot of the things that you're going to tell me, we've already been through. And we understand what you're going through, from the demands on your time, the pressures of the job, the stress and toll it takes on your family, your kids, the fame and fortune, all the things that kind of go with getting to that level and then staying at that level. We have a unique insight into what they're dealing with and what they're going through. And then as we get to know our clients, we're able to mentor them and guide them through the landmines and potholes that they're going to face throughout their professional lives and their personal lives. And it's, it's daunting at times. And a lot of times people don't have time to really analyze what they want to do. They just say, oh, somebody went there, let's go there. And once you have a conversation with people and really kind of dig deep and peel back the onion layers and understand them on a more personal level, you really get to understand what they need, what they're looking for, what can help them. We're firm believers in the healing powers of travel, but also when you are going on a trip and you are traveling, it's not just you're turning your brain off and sitting at a beach for 7 days and you're coming home. I personally don't know anybody that does that anymore. You may do that for 1 or 2 days, but then it's adventure, it's culinary, it's culture. It's learning about the destination, learning about the people, and learning about kind of what's going on, and kind of really coming home with some tangible value and insight into what's going on in other parts of the world, other countries. And it allows you to be a better person, but a lot of times a better business person, a better athlete, having that understanding and that knowledge of what's out there. And we're firm believers in implementing what you learn in your travels and bringing it home and having some take-home value from your trip, so that you're getting better on a personal and professional level.
So had you been in the business world instead of working for the Panthers when the Blues won the Cup, could you have been more involved? Was that kind of an odd position for you because you work for an NHL team and yet your former team in the town you live in? Like, I felt like you had to kind of keep your distance a little bit. Would it have been different if you were doing this job back then?
Yeah, it was a little awkward. I was working for Florida and they were asking me to do videos and asking me to do things. I'd run it by Dale. He had no problem with it. So I did it. But I was trying to steer clear of some things. Just, for me, the players deserve all the credit, and the coaching staff and management, ownership, the team. Yes, we came before them and we laid some of the foundation, but at the end of the day, those are the players, coaches that were able to get the job done. And they deserve a lot of the credit and a lot of the spotlight.
Was it fun for you as a former player? You won a cup, so you already kind of checked that off the list for yourself personally. But having spent a lot of time here, you're growing, your kids are growing up here. How much fun did you enjoy it from afar?
No, I think it was great for the city. Obviously, great for the fan base, great for the organization. Certainly, the players and in the storybook, rags to riches, where as we all know, last place in January 1 and winning the cup June whatever 15th or whatever it was. It's that's something that I think a lot of people now think is possible when their teams are down there. But a lot of things had to go right for them. There's so many different factors that kind of the coaching change, the goalie change. You look at all the different things. Obviously you need a lot of luck, a lot of bounces, and things to go your way. But you have to give the players a lot of the credit. They went out and got it done and performed at the highest level at the best possible time.
You were on some really good teams here with some really good players. And when it didn't happen consistently, did you ever say, oh, shit, it's just not going to happen? I mean, did you wonder? I've wondered. I mean, I didn't suit up, as you know, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you ever wonder, man, is it, not that it had a Cubs factor, but boy, the teams were so good and yet couldn't break through.
Yeah. There was a couple years where I thought the team really had a good chance, and you look back and you look at the players and then you look at the other teams and you're like, sometimes it's the matchup, it's who you're playing at certain times. Like I know when I went to Edmonton, my first year leaving here, we played Detroit that first round, and they were the President's Cup winner, and I think had 130 points or whatever it was. They only lost like 12 games. Well, 2 of those were to us. We beat them twice. We went 2-2 against them. So we weren't looking at their record. We were looking at our record against them and how we matched up against them, how we played them. And, so we weren't scared of them. We felt like we could beat them. We needed to play a certain style. We needed full buy-in, on and on and on. We needed good goaltending. And we did all those things, and we got that, and we were able to beat them. The next round, we got down to San Jose, but we were in 2 really, really close games in San Jose that we lost by 1 goal each. Then we were losing game 3 at home, and the tide turned on a fluke goal, and then we kind of stormed back and put the hammer down and beat them 4 straight. And then we played Anaheim in the conference finals, and we had played them 8 times in the regular season, and we went 7-1. So we felt comfortable beating them too. So it just, it's timing and when you're playing. The same thing when I was in Anaheim the next year and we won. We played Minnesota the first round. We played well against them. Vancouver, the same thing. Detroit was a bit of a hurdle, but we had played well against them in the regular season. And then Ottawa, once we got past Detroit, we weren't worried about the East. We knew we could beat them.
Wasn't there an epic cup party in Southern California? Was it the Cops, or did you have a rock band? What's the?
I had Sugar Ray came and played my cup party, and then we had a few police officers show up on a number of occasions to ask about the noise, and ultimately around 4 a.m. and I think it might have been their 3rd appearance at my front door. They were like, "Okay, it's time."
You're a famous smartass, but when the cops were at the door, do you button it up a little bit?
The first time, no. I think it was only 11 o'clock. So I go, "Hey, come on down, boys." I invited them down to see the cup and get pictures and do all that. And then they went on their merry way, and then they came back again, I think at 2. And at that point I said, "Oh yeah, we'll turn the music down." And I went down and I turned it down and I said, "Oh, how's that?" That's great. I counted to 10 and then I turned it back up. And then the 4 o'clock one was, or the 4 a.m. one was, yes, sir, it's done. Time to go. Let's wrap it up.
Always the agitator, Chris Pronger, even at his cup party. Why Sugar Ray? Did you know somebody who knew somebody?
Yeah, my brother was friends with the bassist, and they came. I had the cup at my house after we won. About a week after we won, I had the cup for like a little intimate family gathering, and he was out back, and he had called him and said, "Hey, I'm over at my brother's with the cup, blah blah blah." And one of his buddies wanted to get a picture with it, who was, I think, a director in Hollywood, and came over and wanted to get a picture with it, and was like, "Hey, you should play Chris's cup party." And then he's like, "Well, let me call Mark," and then call Mark McGrath, and he said, "Yeah, sure, done."
How about Pronger going Hollywood? The best in the bricks. It's more than just a slogan. Why not make your home or garage or chimney look its best by fixing the bricks? That's what B&G Tuck Pointing can do for you. Bricks look their best with proper tuck pointing. Call Rich Galati and his team at 314-363-0525. And by team, of course, we include his daughters, Bella and Gabrielle. Or go online, bgtuckpointing.com. A proud St. Louis-based company that supports the hometown St. Louis Blues. Yes, they love their hockey. Chimney repair, foundation repair, caulking, waterproofing. They do it all. Have you driven around St. Louis? We have a lot of brick buildings, and if they need repair, you know who to call. Consider me among the many satisfied customers. Call 363-0525, 363-0525, or go online, bgtuckpointing.com, and find out what it means to be the best in the bricks. The fountains and flags outside invite you in. Once inside, it's obvious what makes Marie de Villa so special. It's the people that live there and the people that work there. I know for a fact it's a fun place to visit, been there many times over the years for special events, and you can tell the residents love it as well. Welcoming atmosphere, providing all types of senior living, independent living, skilled nursing, memory care. Marie de Villa Senior Living, that's what we're talking about. A single location. That means ownership is hands-on. The residents here are considered guests, and trust me, they feel that way. The beautiful grounds make it more of a campus-type atmosphere. I love calling it the Marie de Villa campus, located at the corner of Clayton and Weidman Road. I guarantee you've driven by there, probably seen the fountains going. Red for October baseball, blue when the Blues are deep into a playoff run. It's a family-owned facility. It's been in business since 1960, and for so many years, it was home to the Cardinals legend, Red Schoendienst. I encourage you to take a virtual tour, or simply to read more about this special place, go to mariedevilla.com. At some point in this next NHL season, we're going to have games, I believe, at some point, and the Blues are scheduled to retire number 44. What does that mean to you? And I know we like to joke around, but do you think at all that night could be emotional?
No, it will be. I think, when I look back on my career, 10 years here in St. Louis, over half my career. So, it's where a lot of things happened in my career, where things were muddling along in the middle, and ultimately, you start that ascent upwards and understand how to prepare, how to train, how to eat, all the things that when you're talented, you need other things in your life. And you start, I met my wife here. We had 2 kids here. I won the Hart Trophy here. I won the Norris Trophy here. You look at all the different things in your career, and, had a number of great years here in St. Louis, and a lot of great friends, a lot of great memories. Obviously missing the one that sucks the most, but, it is what it is. And when you have failures and defeats like that, those are what help make and drive you to do more to get to reach the top. And, we can always quit when we have those instances, or we can push through and strive for greatness. And fortunate enough to hit a lot of hurdles in my career and a lot of forks in the road, and some I chose properly and others I didn't.
So the fans love you. They'll cheer you that night. They've cheered you throughout, but early on it was rough. Was there a period when you thought, "Oh my God, this is," and how old were you again? You were a kid.
I was 20. When I first got here, I was 20. Then I turned 21. And yeah, there was a lot of drunken Thursday and Saturday nights. Let's just put it that way. A lot of late nights bellied up to the bar.
Because you were loving life, or because you're like, "Oh my God, they traded Shanny for me," or
No, I wasn't necessarily loving life, getting booed every game and getting worked, walking into bars and doing all that, almost getting into fights in the parking lot of the arena. Things of that nature aren't what one might expect as a professional athlete.
Did you and Shanny ever talk to Shanny about it? Like how your life?
No, I didn't really, in that regard. I talked to him about the trade a little bit, but not what I was dealing with. It just, that's the expectations of the fan base, and more. They were pissed off at Mike Keenan for making the trade, and they took it out on me because he wasn't the one with the puck or making the mistakes. I was. So they were, I guess, giving me grief, which in turn made him look bad, which in turn made him mad. And then he would take it out on me. It was a vicious cycle.
We need to we need a fucking.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get in the corner and suck on my thumb.
Well, it all worked out for you. You end up being a captain in St. Louis. And I want to bring up Alex Pietrangelo, who's a captain, a defenseman. And you mentioned marrying your wife, who's from St. Louis. It's amazing. Barrett Jackman still lives here. His wife's from St. Louis. Jamie Rivers still lives here. His wife's from St. Louis. These things happen. But I don't think it's a factor with Pietrangelo. Maybe it is at home when he's talking to his wife about it. But how do you see this playing out? And how tough is that for both sides? Because it's business. But this is a guy who won a cup in St. Louis. How much does that change it?
I think in a salary cap world, having been on that side and been on this side, the player and the manager, owner side, at some point, I think you look at some teams, they get caught up in, oh, he helped us win a cup, and they want to pay for past performance like they used to in our league. In today's salary cap era, you can no longer do that. You get hamstrung with bad contracts. You get hamstrung with poor performance. As far as Petro goes, I think he's looking at what the marketplace is, much like I was looking at what the marketplace was when I was doing my deals. When you're looked at in the same light as certain players and you see what they get paid, that's the market value. That's what you need to get paid. So he's looking at, I'm sure, Roman Josi. He's looking at Shea Weber. He's looking at what some of these guys are getting, what PK Subban's getting paid. He's looking at these guys and going, okay, I'm younger. I don't play, in some of their cases, I don't play the same way. So I'm not going to have the same mileage on my body. I'm not going to, as you factor in a lot of those things. And I think on the Blues side, you're looking at term, you're looking at, okay, salary cap implications, not necessarily in the first 3 or 4 years, but what do years 5, 6, 7, 8 look like? And, then it's a matter of, okay, factoring the costs and seeing, okay, what does the player want? What are we going to get to? And then if there's not a deal, then ultimately he's leaving. At the end of the day, he's leaving.
How much does the player let the agent make the entire call? Or how much does the player?
Oh, the agent is not making the entire call. Anybody who says that is either doing themselves a disservice or they're lying. The agent is going to guide. The agent's going to walk you through your comp set, going to walk you through who most players already know who their comps are in that level. So ultimately listen, at the end of the day, you're going to have a real conversation with your agent. This is what I'm willing to stay for, but you're not offering that first because then they're going to drop below again. It's a game of chicken at the end of the day. We'll give you $6 million and you're going to come in and say, no, I want 10. we're going to give you 7. No, I want 10. You know, until they say, well, we're not giving anymore. And you're like, well, then I'm leaving. You know, the player also has the ability to make a business decision too and say, okay, I'll play in St. Louis for X because it's comfortable and I want to finish my career in one city, but I need to make X because I know I can get this in the marketplace. And here's my comp set. And when, you know, the player has to be willing to leave. I feel like Petro's willing to leave. I mean, he's from Toronto. I think he goes back there in the summer. You know, I think they'll always have a house here. You know, she's from here, isn't she not?
Yes.
So, but at the end of the day, it doesn't, you're moving away and you can, listen, you can always come back, you know, but if you're talking a 7 or 8 year deal, if you're talking 7 million versus 10 million, that's a lot of money over a 7 or 8 year deal you're giving up. And by the way, this is his last contract. So, you know, you got to weigh. There's a lot of factors you got to weigh. You got to weigh tax implications. You got to weigh. There's a lot of cost of living, you know, quality of life, you know, where you're living, a big city versus, you know, a smaller city like St. Louis, traffic, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that play into it that I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize or recognize and understand. You know, quality of life, you know, if you move, where are you going to live? What are you going to do? And I think a lot of players that move in unrestricted free agency don't understand that side of it. They're just looking at the dollars and cents and they're looking at tax, but they're not looking at where they're going to live. They're not looking at all that other stuff. And, you know, if you're signing a 7 or 8 year deal, that's important.
Our dime store psychologist, is it easier to leave because he won a cup here, got that done? Or is it harder to leave because, man, I'm so connected now to that fan base and that franchise because we won it together? I've wondered about that, if it's something accomplished so you can leave feeling satisfied, or it's like, well, I really don't want to leave after what we did together.
Well, I think it would be easier to leave. He's been able to accomplish what he set out to do. He was the captain of the team. He was an integral part of why they won. If anything, he's basically saying, why don't you want me? What else do you want me to do? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're the player, and then if you're the owner and you're the GM and you're looking at the cost analysis and you're looking at that's their call too, you know, and that's it. I mean, it boils down to, everybody talks about, oh, he's going to take a hometown discount. He's going to do this or that. You're already taking a hometown discount with the escrow. You're already losing 10 to 15% because of escrow. So the hometown discounts factored in.
You mean,
and you can argue taxes and, you know, like Florida, you pay no state tax. So whether it's 7% here in Missouri or 15% in New York, if you live in the city, you know, you can factor in a lot of that stuff. But then you also have to factor in cost of living, quality of life, traffic, where you're living, you know, where the rink is. I mean, there's a lot of things that play into it. But if you're just looking at dollars and cents, there's an easy formula to figure that out.
You love sports? Sure. But what you really love is a winning team and a great story. That's exactly what you get with Appliance Discounters. It started with just 3 employees. 1 location, 3 employees. Denise Bradley, her husband John, her brother Tony. That's it. More than a decade ago. And for years, you've heard me talking about them. Here's why. My dishwasher, it's a Bosch, the quietest dishwasher on the market. Remember Grandma's dishwasher always, That's not what's going on with us. We got it at Appliance Discounters. Our washer, our dryer, our stove, and our refrigerator, and Electrolux. Yes, the Kilcoynes put these babies to the test. During the quarantine, the MVP at our house, the dishwasher, it got a workout. We've got big name brands we're talking about at a great price. St. Charles, Baldwin, Maplewood, South County, and in the city. The best bet, just get online. theappliancediscounters.com. Our savings are your savings. You ever think about broadcasting? You know, you're pretty glib. You've probably been on a few sets before. Has anybody ever talked to you about doing more of it?
I've had a few inquiries that didn't go very far because they just didn't. They didn't. They weren't willing to meet my demands, I guess.
You had leverage.
I had leverage, which was that crazy word that has 2 letters in it. No.
I don't really want to do it. Therefore,
I would do it, but if you're not going to pay me what I'm worth, then no, I'm not going to do it.
And the kids are any of the kids playing hockey?
No, they play basketball.
Basketball. I knew Jack was basketball. So was that on purpose? They didn't play hockey, or they just?
No, they used to play hockey, and they just, you know what, they grew out of it. And you know what, I was coaching them, and every year I would ask them, are you having fun? At one point in one year, I asked my middle son, I said, hey, you don't look like you're having very much fun. You want to do something different? He's like, yeah, I think I'm done. So then the next year, my oldest played, and he saw his brother playing basketball, having a blast. He's like, well, I want to do that. I go, well, then don't play hockey. It's during the same season.
All right, the final thought for the great Chris Pronger. Now that we'll go full circle. We started with your new business, Well-Inspired Travels. Give me a place you could get on a plane tomorrow, you and Lauren, you would go, that you've always thought sounded interesting or intriguing, or you've read or looked online about it that you've always wanted to be or go, never been.
I would go to the Maldives. That's one. I would go to, I have not been to Paris, believe it or not.
I can't believe that.
Believe it or not, that's on our list for next summer. We'll be going next summer. Where else? Been
to New Zealand?
No, that's on the list, but that's further down the list. We're going to be going to, let's see here. We're going to Paris and the south of France. We're going to the Maldives, and then African safari. That's another one.
Wow. Look at this guy. We knew him when. Now he's going to have his number retired in between trips to the south of France.
There you go.
I promise I won't lose your number, but I won't use it for a while. How about that?
You'll lose it for a couple days.
Good to talk to you.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Always a ton of fun to talk it over with Chris Pronger. I'm telling you, he'd be a great broadcaster if he wanted to do it. He made it pretty clear. You pay him enough, he might just do it. Unfiltered with Pronger is even better. Just telling stories and recapping the career, looking ahead at next season with the retirement of his jersey. Always fun to check in with the former captain, Chris Pronger, who lives in St. Louis now year-round. The Kilcoyne Conversation presented by Appliance Discounters. Get online, theappliancediscounters.com. B&G Tuck Pointing. Boy, they love their hockey. Rich Galati and his daughters, Gabrielle and Bella, they're great supporters of Blues hockey and also doing great work making those bricks look new again. bgtuckpointing.com. Marie DeVilla Senior Living there at the corner of Clayton and Wideman Road. And when the Cards got back into the postseason, you can bet they had the fountains turning red. I know Keener Plaza didn't do it, but Marie DeVilla did because they're all about St. Louis. They're always celebrating something. They're very festive folks. Great spot for senior living. Get online, mariedevilla.com. And also Triad Bank. I always say the neighborhood-friendly bank. And if you stop and think about it, what does it mean? Well, a lot of times you walk into those huge banks, national, international, just, first of all, nobody there. And I have found that they're also not real friendly. I love going into Triad Bank, talking to the folks in the lobby, but find out more about the services they can provide being a St. Louis-based bank. They get the decisions made right here in St. Louis. Online, triadbanking.com, or stop by and see them in person in Frontenac on Clayton Road. They're about a block west of the corner of Clayton and Lindbergh, real close to that Highway 40 exit, easy to get to no matter where you live. Triad Bank, one of our great sponsors. Thanks for tuning in to the Kilcoyne Conversation. We'll talk to you again soon.